You're listening to the Weird Libertarians Network. Learn more at weirdlibertarians.com. We Are Libertarians. It's a podcast that brings you all of the irreverence that modern politics deserves. Join Chris Spangle and Greg Lenz every week as they discuss current events, politics, and society from a libertarian point of view. Welcome to the Chris Spangle Show. I'm your host, Chris Spangle. This is a podcast about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We talk about a wide range of subjects from libertarianism, comedy, podcasting, and what makes us human. Mostly this is a conversation between me and my friends about what they find interesting, what I find interesting. So I thank you for being here. This is brought to you by the Weird Libertarians Podcast Network. Find out more at weirdlibertarians.com. Please be sure to rate us and review us on iTunes and financially support us through PayPal or Patreon at weirdlibertarians.com. And we're always taking your questions and comments at editor@weirdlibertarians.com. Today, my guest is, the topic of today's show is super fandom. Weird Libertarians has a super fan. Okay, and we'll kind of get into what that means a little bit. But we also, but she's a super fan of another comedic personality. He's funny. I'm just a joke.
That's true.
So our guest, thank you.
I love you.
You're not a super fan anymore, apparently. What did I do to you?
Well.
So Kristi Avery joins us. Kristi, turn into Rush Limbaugh or Don Imus all of a sudden. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
You must be delighted to be in the luxury apartment, the Weird Libertarian, the Klozinski Studios, as we call them.
It's spacious and amazing.
And I'm talking into the Kristi Avery microphone.
That's sexy.
Now you have been a financial supporter as well as a moral supporter of Weird Libertarians in a major way over the last year, I would say, and have really helped us upgrade our equipment and have done a lot to help promote the show. And we thank you for that. That's obviously amazing.
You're welcome.
And it just is one token of support that you have shown the Weird Libertarians Network. When did you first hear about Weird Libertarians?
I honestly don't remember.
Okay.
I mean, I've known you for like 4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
Through the Libertarian Party, and you started this podcast, and
sure,
I started listening, but I didn't really have a lot of time to listen to podcasts, and then I lost my job.
Right.
And since then, I've been working temp jobs and stuff like that, so I kind of had a lot more time to listen to podcasts. And
sure.
It's really entertaining. It's very enjoyable.
Yeah, and you love the podcast so much that you drive down to our live shows from Fort Wayne, which is 2 hours away.
Yes.
Have you enjoyed those?
I absolutely did, especially the one with Rupert. I really like Rupert.
Great. All right, cool. And you have, at the first show, you wore a T-shirt.
Yes, I did.
What was the T-shirt?
The T-shirt was my WAL fangirl T-shirt, and I made it with iron-ons with various pictures from your Facebook page, like memes and all the funny stuff that you make, and the We Are Libertarians logo.
Right.
Because I'm such a fangirl.
And you've got a luggage tag of We Are Libertarians and Weird Al. You've got bags. Now, Kristi, some might call me insane for inviting you into my home.
What?
Yes, some might be concerned for my safety.
Huh?
I, though, love attention, and I love...
What?
Yeah. But I think it's interesting because you unashamedly love things.
That is very true.
Yeah, and I think that is such an awesome quality.
Things and people.
Yeah, you just really, when you get into something, you really get into it.
Absolutely, that's it right there.
Right, so that's kind of what I want to talk to you about, because I find that to be a great quality, because there's a lack of shame, and I don't mean this in a bad way, I mean this in a good way. There is a lack of shame around your fandom of things that you support and like.
Right.
And I think that a lot of people have they feel embarrassed if they like something too much.
Right.
Or they feel that they're being creepy if they move, if they like something too much.
I embrace being creepy. Bring it on.
Okay.
Are you scared?
I'm not scared. No, you're a great person, and we've become good friends over the last year. But I don't want to talk about your wall fandom as much because that seems like gross and like self like aggrandizing, and I'm not that way. Okay. Because as much as you love Weird Libertarians, you love Weird Al Yankovic so much more, right?
Probably, yes. And I've loved him for a longer time, so it's a deeper, more more real love, although he's never given me his home address.
That's right. It probably will continue to be that way. I'm sorry. But
I've seen him in a couple of hotels before, but, I've never been in his room, or I've been, like, almost on his bus, but not quite.
Did you have a gun, or...
No, I don't have a gun. For people who don't know, when you see Weird Al, if the bus that they use is in an accessible area, sometimes after concerts you can wait and wait and wait and wait, and eventually Al and the band will come out, and he usually is pretty good about signing autographs. Now that he's so giant and big and hugely popular, maybe not so much anymore, but... Yeah, you could wait in line at the bus and get an autograph. And
like, I think of Weird Al as like not at the peak of his fame at this point anymore, though. He's kind of back, but like, is he back? Is he bigger than ever?
His last album, which I believe was released like 2 years ago today, hit number 1 the first week it was released, which is unheard of for a comedy album. And that had never happened for Al before.
So this is what makes her a super fan. Not only did she have the exact date of the last album release, she said it in such a condescending way. Like
duh, you should know that.
You an idiot. Like,
of course, I helped him with that because I believe I bought 3 copies of the album.
Right. So let's start with your love of Weird Al. When did you first kind of get into him?
I remember my younger brother would always listen to Dr. Demento on the radio, probably out of Chicago. So I kind of got introduced to Al that way and saw videos, like Friday night videos or whatever. We didn't have cable. We didn't even have color TV.
What kind of time, what years?
Good grief. Probably early to mid 80s. Mm-hmm. And, when the movie UHF came out, my brother and I we saw that in the theater. Plus,
how many times?
I think just the once.
Wow.
Calm down, Chris. And we also saw the Batman movie, which came out like the same time and like totally cremated every other movie that came out at the same time. And afterwards, I had to take my brother to the store to buy the soundtrack for UHF because it was so great.
It was life-changing.
I don't know about life-changing. My love of Al has probably been life-changing because I have met so many other people because of my love of Al, and they are just so awesome.
Right.
I mean, I like people who are good people. Well, I don't know about you. I think you're a good person.
Right.
Greg Lenz.
Yeah, he's on the fence. I mean,
maybe he's a good person. Maybe he's not. Of course, he did buy me a couple drinks, so I guess that makes him a good person. You've never bought me a drink, so.
No, I'm very cheap. Jeremiah Morrill.
Me too. That's why people need to buy me drinks.
Jeremiah Morrill recently said, "This is the first time your friendship has never cost me anything." It's like, and it's the last.
You're like, hold your hand out for money when he comes in the door.
Listen, I just have a lot of passion projects, and I can't afford to pay for them all anymore. I've got to have help. So.
That is really sad.
Yeah.
But anyways, Al is a nice, genuinely nice person, which you've met him.
I did. I met him 2007, I would say. He was at the radio station that I worked at, and he was genuinely nice. There was another Weird Al superfan that worked there named Melissa, and Melissa had her whole cubicle decorated in Weird Al stuff. Like, she was a Weird Al superfan, too.
That's awesome.
And she had gone to a ton of concerts. I bet if I showed you a photo of her, you'd know her.
I'm trying to think. I don't know if I know any Melissas. But
I'll see if I can grab her up. But But yeah, like, and so she brought her son in that day to get photos, and he just went above and beyond to make sure that she got everything she wanted. I didn't take a photo with him because it's kind of considered gauche if you're in the media to take photos with somebody.
Because you're not Rob Kendall.
Right. That's a good dig. I like that. But yeah, he was just a very nice guy. I really liked him. So...
Yeah, he is sincerely a nice guy. Really, all the band members are, and they'll all hang out and sign autographs and talk to people and stuff like that. But I don't know where I was going with that. The first time I saw him was in 1994.
Here's the photo of her with Weird Al that I took in 2008. Do you recognize her?
I don't recognize her.
Okay. So, but yeah, he was there in a really wacky shirt, and
of course,
just super sweet guy. Yeah,
but I mean, there were 3 Weird Al conventions, and he came to 2 of them. Mm-hmm. The first one was a total surprise.
Oh,
and I got my picture taken with him because I just won a raffle right before his big reveal.
Right,
so that was super exciting. And I think the second one was when he had gotten married. And his wife came in to check into the room. Mm-hmm. And us girls knew her.
Did you shoot daggers at her?
We did not. We welcomed her into the Al Gal group. We had pins and everything. Someone gave her a pin. So we're good with Al's wife. And, she's nice. It's just been a great experience.
Yeah. So so what goes on at these conventions?
Just people sharing their love of Weird Al. Sometimes there's a costume contest. Like at the first one I went to, I think somebody dressed up as the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. I mean, just a big twine ball with the glass enclosure around it and everything.
What's the reference?
Hilarious. Oh my God. Al has a song about the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. It's a twine ball.
Why are you being
made
you're so
by one man?
You're so condescending. You're just
I should not have been on the Chris Spangle show. Maybe Greg Lenz has
the only one
love.
allowed to be condescending on this podcast is me.
I guess not. Burn.
Okay, so people dress up, and really, it's about community. It's about the community of people that gather around this thing that they love and they're interested in.
And the first one was back in 1998, so there wasn't really, a big internet connection or anything like that. I mean, it's awesome now because I have friends all over the country, and I can talk to them whenever I want.
Yeah. And so is that kind of the main driver, the community that goes along with it?
It is a little bit, but I just love the music.
Right.
I'm a big music fan, so the music is awesome.
Do you only listen to Weird Al?
No.
Okay.
You know that I love NSYNC too, right?
No.
Really?
No.
I think Greg must pay better attention to me than you do.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I'm very busy. It's not a you thing. It's a me thing. Trust me. You're delightful. Otherwise, I wouldn't give you my address. I just don't. I don't spend a lot of time scrolling on Facebook like I used to.
Right.
Greg,
you're so important.
No, I'm busy. I'm very busy.
Okay, busy, important, whatever.
Right, so
I can't remember if it was at the convention back in April, but I was talking about how I have an internet radio show on Tuesdays for an hour on a station called Dementia Radio.
Okay.
An homage to Dr. Demento. Do you know who that is?
I do, yes.
Okay. You're not a total dick.
No. Good God. Super fan my ass. No, working for Bob and Tom, of course.
Right.
Dr. Demento is, everybody in radio, especially comedy radio like us, knows Dr. Demento.
Okay. But anyways, so I was talking about it because some of the other guys were talking about their podcasts and stuff, like Josh Featherstone. Mm-hmm. Josh, wink. And
Are you hitting on Josh right now?
Well, according to some place on Facebook, we're supposed to be in a relationship 10 years from now.
Oh.
Who knows?
Get it, girl?
He said he wasn't sure he'd be alive in 10 years, so necrophilia, whatever. But anyway, so I was talking about...
All right. So
you did research on me, right?
He was talking. Wow. He was talking about.
We were talking about podcasts, and I brought up I have this show on on the internet, and Greg's like, yeah, I've listened to it. I'm like, what?
He has?
He said he did. I was like, oh my God.
But see, this is why you're such a delightful person. Like, you do so much for We Are Libertarians, and you've never once ever told me about that or expected me to promote it or you know.
Oh, we're gonna make bumpers a little later, mister.
Okay, we sure can, absolutely. But like that's so funny. You should have, I totally promote it. Like you should literally. My Facebook is Kristi Avery. Like. She shares everything on Weird Libertarians, and it's great. I wish all of you were like her.
But there's only one me. Sorry.
I know. So you really start getting into Weird Al at like what point?
So probably like in the mid 80s.
Like
or so.
Beat It.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eat it. So,
but when I was a kid, I was born in '83. So Eat It was just the funniest thing I'd ever seen in my life. Like I'm such a huge fan, and then the Coolio parody in high school was very funny. I have several Weird Al albums.
Well, that's awesome. Chris.
Yeah, I do like.
But
Weird
you're
Al.
no super fan.
No, I'm definitely not a super fan. No, I'm.
But anyways, I was probably right at that right age when like a surgeon came out, because if you know in the video, he wears kind of a cutoff shirt.
Right.
So you can see his navel, and it was a little. Woo!
It got you hot.
A little bit.
Okay, so preteen Kristi getting a little worked up over
a little bit
over his habit trail.
What?
The little trail down,
okay,
down to Pleasure Town. Where you want to Weird Al Yankovic him off.
Oh my God. Wow! I hope he never hears this.
He won't. So
when you post it and I share it, I should tag him. No, I'm not going to tag him. I will tag him. I will tag him.
So, okay, so you've how would you compare what, like, are you self-aware enough to like, okay, I know I'm a super fan, versus people who show up at the concert, they might buy a t-shirt and leave. Do you recognize your devotion?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I recognize it in other people too.
Right.
I'm not the only Weird Al. I might be the only Wall fan, but I'm not the only Weird Al super fan.
So what are the differences between a regular fan of Weird Al and what you do?
I don't know. Just more supportive, more I go to see basically the same concert multiple times, because if you watch closely, there are subtle differences, and something weird might happen, who knows. But most people would go see each tour once, maybe twice, but there was one time, can't remember which tour it was, but I took a week of vacation and just followed Al around Ohio, Indiana, Chicago. And
that
it was fun.
Last year, right?
No, it wasn't last year.
Oh, I thought you did like a tour last year.
I did like 3 shows like on a weekend.
Okay.
I saw him here in Indianapolis, and that's when I actually got to stop and talk to him for a little bit. It was so exciting. My first post-divorce Weird Al concert.
You were hoping, weren't you?
No, I was not.
A little bit.
No.
Okay.
But I was definitely screaming a lot. He definitely knows that the women are excited by his hip thrusts and all that good stuff. He knows, and he uses that. He definitely does.
That's very funny. It's so funny to think of Weird Al as a sexual being, but you live it. That's your whole world.
It's not my whole world.
It's your whole world. You're so into it.
If it was my whole world, I wouldn't have room for you, Chris.
That's true. I'll do like a hip thrust for you later.
Okay.
So Weird Al gets a little sexy on stage.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Have you ever seen him in concert?
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
I'm not much of a concert person,
okay,
to be honest. And if I were going to go to a concert, I probably would not go to a Weird Al concert.
You like to go see Cats or something.
I did go to the Cat
music.
Festival. This shirt right here, I wore to the International Cat Festival.
Oh, you are so a bigger nerd than I am.
I've seen Yes, Bad Company, and Styx live in concert once. I've been to a Lady Gaga tribute. That was the ex-wife's decision. That was mostly terrible. Trying to think. I really haven't. I went to a Christian concert festival called Ichthus once. Other than that, I don't think that I've been to really any other concerts.
Huh. You're just not a big music person?
What am I going to do? Just like go stand there? Like, just what am I supposed to do? Stand and
Check
look?
out the ladies.
That's a good point. Yeah, I do need help with that.
Oh, yeah, I can certainly help you with that, Chris.
Yeah.
I roll.
Introduce me to some of your
Weird Al fans.
girls.
Most of them, sadly, are married.
Shocking, actually.
Wow.
So speaking,
I was actually married at one point.
I know. So speaking of which, Weird Al impacted your marriage, your wedding, did it not?
Yes, I scheduled my wedding. My husband and I scheduled our wedding around a Weird Al convention that was in California. So we got married like on a Monday or a Tuesday. And of course, it was the 27th because 27 is an important number in Weird Al lore.
Is it?
It is, absolutely.
Why?
He uses it a lot in his videos and songs, and it's just something that the fans caught on to, and it just became a thing. So we got married on the 27th of July in 2009, and then that weekend we went to California for Al Fest, and we went to the Orange County Fair where they had Al's brain in 3D. It was a 3D movie that he had put together, and it was amazing.
Okay.
Shut up. And then the following weekend, we had a reception in Fort Wayne, and then the weekend after that, we had a reception in Grand Rapids because that's where he was from.
Okay. So you did, your honeymoon was all around Weird Al.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So that's what I mean when I say this girl's a super fan of Weird Al.
Well, my ex-husband.
I do it too. It's been 2 years, and I still will occasionally say my wife. And trust me, she's very far from my wife.
Exactly. The feeling is mutual.
Yeah, you and I actually, I don't know if you know this or not, but you and I got divorced or split the same week.
It was the same week?
Yeah.
I know, I don't think you mentioned anything about it right away.
For a couple months.
But mine was very visible on Facebook.
Yeah.
And it was the absolute worst, horrible thing ever. And it was just horrible.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that. It was horrible.
And Weird Al picked you up, didn't he? He helped lift you out.
He did. You know, his music helped me a lot because his last album came out in 2014, and that was the year of our divorces. And I had that to look forward to, and a tour and all that stuff. So, yeah.
That's great. So what do you get out of it? Like, what does being a super fan bring to your life? What the positive things that you really enjoy about it, and it's why you kind of commit to like Weird Al, and you say, I'm going to share, I'm going to like, I'm going to support. Like, what do you get out of it, do you think?
I enjoy it very much. I don't know. It just makes you feel good. And I met a lot of friends through the comedy music scene. I mean, it's more than just Weird Al. There's a lot of people. In fact, I have one friend who is he's pretty big, right up there. I mean, not up there with Weird Al, but he's been a big hit on Dr. Demento and all that. And he recently moved out to Burbank because he also does like illustrating and things like that. He works for Cartoon Network, and the show that he works on actually just became an actual show. It used to just be something you could get through the website or the app or on YouTube, but now it's going to be an actual show.
Cool.
And it's called Mighty Magiswords.
Okay.
So check it out.
Yeah, so I think you're no different than me. Like, I am a Weird Libertarian super fan, but it's my own thing, you know?
Right,
Like,
so that's kind of weird.
Well, trust me, it often feels very uncomfortable. Like, I get as much as I, like, seem self-promotional and seem like, oh, he's begging for donations again, it's like, I just really love this, and I really love doing this, and I'm really passionate about it, and I want to do more, and I want more people to know about it.
Right.
And I'm just really excited, and I spend like 20 hours a week on Weird Libertarian stuff. I'm just like the biggest fan of what we do because it makes friendships like this.
Right.
You know, it gives me an excuse to have conversation, because I think in this day and age, we are also connected on our phones that we get to sit down for a couple hours every Thursday night, and I get to converse with my best friends.
Right.
And they became my best friends because of this hobby, this libertarian connection. Excuse me. So I guess I don't like. I don't think you're weird in any way, shape, or form, because I do it too. It's like, and I think more people need a passion like that. You know, they need to create stuff, and you know, you found this. There is somewhat of a creative element to your fandom, because you create T-shirts, you craft posts on Facebook, you're promoting this stuff. So it does. I mean, do you get sort of your own creative juices flowing as a super fan too?
Maybe a little bit, because you know, making the shirt was a lot of fun, and like designing things like the bag and the luggage tag. And it was kind of funny when I saw the things that you had printed out at the convention, like stickers and stuff. It was kind of the same things that I had also used. So that was kind of funny. And, you know, speaking about promotion, Weird Al is actually coming to Fort Wayne on the 26th. So the show apparently is not sold out yet. So every day or two, or every couple of hours sometimes, I see the sponsored posts pop up on Facebook. Hey, there's still tickets for the Fort Wayne show.
Right.
Share. I wish I could tell how many times I've shared it, because it's got to be a lot.
And why do you do that?
Because I want more people to be there. I want more people to experience what I experience.
Right.
And I want Al to see that sea of people and feel that love coming from the audience.
Right.
Just me, he'd probably feel enough, but you know,
sure,
it's better if it's a full house.
So it's very altruistic in a way, because you want him to feel good. Yeah.
And when I spoke to him after the Indianapolis concert, I said he's just, you know, signing something for me, and I'm just babbling on about, I'm just so happy for all the success that you've had since this last album. Because really, he has done so many other things since then. Like, he's on Comedy Bang Bang right now. Who would have ever thought that would have happened? Right. 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And he just kind of looked at me, and he's just like, and then I went, squeeze! Yeah. See, and then security dragged me off. No.
Nah. But see, that's very, very sweet. Like, that is very sweet and touching, that, like, the reason, like, because I think in this day and age, people will look at that and you sharing that, and they'll, like, in a way tune it out, because it's like, oh, she's talking about Weird Al again. But they never really stop and think about, like, why you're doing that.
Right, exactly. And sometimes I'll just share it without a comment, but sometimes I will make a comment on it too. I mean, I do the same thing for your posts and the Libertarian Party's posts and all that stuff. And I think the reason that I really got into it a year or so ago is I really wanted to be a part of the party this year for an election year, presidential election year. 4 years ago, I went to the convention in Las Vegas. Right. And there had been so many people that wanted to be delegates for Indiana that I wasn't able to be an Indiana delegate. I had to be a delegate, I think, for the state of New York, which, I mean, that was fine. Right. But I wanted to be an Indiana delegate. And I think I even told you that. And you're like, putting money into my show and being a fan of my show isn't going to help you, but maybe it did. I don't know. I mean, I think it kind of helped me to step up and take a position in the district, which, I mean, that could have helped me become a delegate. Sure. Of course, there weren't that many more than our total number this year anyways, because of that little Indy 500 thing, but
yeah. So yeah, you had personal goals, and you know, this show, or, well, not this show, but We Are Libertarians, the main podcast that we do, inspired you to be more active and to do more, and kind of helped you carve out what your goals were. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a lot of goals. I'm kind of directionless right now because I'm working a part-time job, which is very part-time right now. I haven't worked since the day before I left for Orlando, which is probably about 3-4 weeks ago.
Right.
And I just got another job. So as soon as my drug screen and background check come through, I'll start that.
Uh-oh.
But that will also be,
You didn't need any poppy seed muffins, did you?
I didn't. I did not. I didn't have any funny chocolate or anything like that.
No edibles?
No tomatoes. But that's working a parking garage or working a parking lot. So it's not anything fancy. And I mean, when I'm applying for jobs, which I'm on an unemployment, so I have to apply for 3 jobs a week, sometimes it's a stretch to find 3 jobs to apply for.
Sure.
So the week of the national convention, I went to the We Are Libertarians live event, and I put that down as a networking event. And then I put 2 days at the convention when I was handing out flyers. So I'm like, those people must not really read that stuff very carefully because this is total bullshit.
Yeah. No, I mean, you went to the national convention and you handed out 1,500 flyers, and that got us an extra 500-600 new people on our Facebook page.
That's just awesome.
And a couple hundred extra subscribers. You know, it really made an impact. And it is hard for me to... I can be gruff and direct because I am very busy and I'm always very... just kind of like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? So it's hard for me sometimes to stop, and I have to make sure that I take the time to say, thank you, I really appreciate that, because I'm always trying to go on to the next project. Let's do this. Because I'm like Joe calls me Glenn Beck, you know, he's like, you're just like Glenn Beck. You're like, let's do this thing. No, let's go over here and do this. No, let's do this. You know, and it is. Every 2 weeks I've got a different thing that because there's so much to do for Weird Libertarians, and there's always another idea, and there's just a ton of things that I want to do because I get so happy and excited about it.
And besides all that, you have a full-time job.
Yeah, exactly. And a life and, you know, a bunch of friends and all that stuff. And so, you know, I do have to sit back and, you know, when I do get some time to reflect, I look and I think like, man, it is so meaningful to me when you know, especially if you're on unemployment and which I didn't even know, and you're donating equipment, like, you know, you're stretching your dollar to help us.
Well, it's not really that.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Let's not.
You're robbing banks. I got it. But you're taking your time to do something that is uncomfortable, which is take flyers and pass them out to 1,200, 1,500 libertarians. You know,
I totally did it when nobody was in the room because it's easier to move through all the chairs. I mean, I did interact with a few people, including that one person who wanted to know what your address was.
What?
I thought I sent you a message about that.
You might have, but I don't remember.
There was a guy, you know, I'm passing out flyers. We are libertarians. We are libertarians. And he just kind of looked at it and he's like, he said something about it. Are they here? And I'm like, no, I'm just here passing out flyers. And he's like, well, what's their address or something like that? And I'm like, I don't know their address. Maybe if you go to the website, you can find something.
Yeah. If you, I mean, I'm not afraid. Like, I'm not worried, you know.
Maybe he just wanted to send you something.
Exactly right. Yeah. I find that people like, we'll get to that in a second, but yeah, I just want to say thank you because it is genuine. It is very sweet, like a very sweet place. Like that is very touching that you want people to go to the Weird Al show to make Weird Al feel better.
Well, not feel better, but just see that his hard work means something.
Not feel better, but like feel good about his work and like
exactly.
You know, there's a mutual give joy to him, the joy that he gives to you.
Exactly.
It's a very two-way golden rule type thing. You do the same thing for us. You know, and it is. I do want to tell you, it really means a lot when you step up and you say, I'm going to do this because nobody else has stepped up to do it, or you pass out flyers, or you do those sorts of things to help us grow and spread the message. It is meaningful, and it makes me go, all right, I'm going to put in, I I'm tired, but I'm going to put in one more hour to do this thing. You know,
exactly. Me working harder for you makes you work harder for you.
It is. It's very meaningful, and I do appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that donates, everybody that shares stuff, everybody that just does any of this stuff. Like I'm not trying to be an over promotional jerk. I'm not, the liners, the commercials, and the stuff that we're going to start doing. It really is just about growing this because we're passionate and excited about it.
Exactly.
But it is when you have the same passion, people see it as when you have unashamed passion for your thing, the thing that you're creating, putting out to the world. Some people see it as arrogant or self-promotional or whatever, and I've had to kind of get to a place where I go, if people think that, that's on them, because that's not what it's about. And I think in your case, people see it as, Kathy Bates, misery. You know what I mean?
She wants in his pants,
right?
Whichever it is,
right. So, have you run into that as a super fan? Have you run into situations where like somebody's like, "Oh, stop being creepy"?
Oh, yeah. And actually, I can show you this picture of Weird Al. You can see that I have my hand on his knee.
Yes.
And I posted pictures like that, and I actually got blowback from some women because I had my hand on his knee.
Right.
It's like, I'm not trying to make a move on the dude. I'm just fucking excited to be backstage with Weird Al.
Right.
It's like, wow.
Right.
Which I should calm down a little bit because I'm going to be backstage at the Fort Wayne show.
Do you need some Klonopin? Would you like some Xanax? Would you? We get you some.
I have a friend that probably has some Xanax, so maybe. I don't know.
Hey, dude. It's like, I recognize her, but she was way a little more calm this time.
She's gotten help.
Have you run into the incidences where the people that you're like trying to promote start to go, hey, like backing away, or like they're mean to you about it?
Well,
I'm not trying to be indelicate.
It's kind of funny that you say that because there was a comedy musician that I enjoyed a lot, and I promoted his abilities and supported his efforts and all this kind of stuff. And there was a time when I wanted something from him, and it didn't happen. He kind of was kind of jerky about it,
right? But
and it just like the scales washed away from my eyes, and I'm just like, this dude does not care about me at all. Yeah. Other than like $. He just cares about what I can do for him, not what he can do for me. Right. It's not a mutual thing at all. Right. And I mean, a friend of mine reached out to him, and he just sent her back stuff like he thought I was going to rape him and all this stuff. And I'm just like, oh my God, what is wrong with this dude? Right. It's like, ugh. Yeah. But obviously it did not stop me from being super fanish, so I got over it. Good. And actually he was at the convention on my honeymoon, so did you be like we went out to eat at that time. I think he actually said something to Alex, like congratulations or run away or something like that. No, I don't think he said anything bad. But actually, you're talking about self-promotion, and in our little dementia radio community, one of the acts, the guy that went to Burbank and is doing the Mighty Magiswords, his name is the Great Luke Ski, and he is a self-promotional genius. So much so, in fact, that when someone stops to promote themselves, they call it a Luke Ski moment. Right. So, I mean, there's a lot of that stuff, and it's a nice community. I mean, people know each other. They have each other's backs. It's just good people. That's great. So yeah, it's very cool that you found community in this. So promote Weird Al. What is the next Weird Al thing that needs to happen? What do people need to get out there and do for Weird Al? I really don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing some new music. He has a box set coming out that's in like a little accordion
Oh, that's
shaped
funny.
box.
That's very funny.
That's coming out next year, and I think that's supposed to have some rarities and maybe some new music on it. His last album was the last album he had with his record company, so he is free and clear. He's not going to sign with another label, as far as we know right now. And people think, oh, well, he's just going to go away then. But really, this frees him to release music even faster.
Oh, yeah. You look at Louis C.K. and the way that he distributes his comedy specials now, his TV show. He's got a whole TV show that you can buy straight from his website. He doesn't go through other distributors like iTunes. It's all on his website. He makes 100% of his money back. That's
great.
And so in this day and age, I mean, we're kind of looking into how can we sell content
right
in a way that, will help us kind of give our audience more, as well as make some money to advertise the show, to grow the audience, to maybe one day make all of this an empire. But for right now, it's a fun hobby, and it's great to get to meet people like you, and that's why the live shows are fun, because then you can come and we get together with the audience and kind of can have some camaraderie, and it's just a great thing.
And people that like your show are probably like-minded with other people that like your show. So, right. I mean, there's a lot of talking after the shows. I know after the last one, I talked to, I think it's Sarah, and like Jeff Ebert, I was talking to him. And, I mean, it's just making new friends.
Right.
What?
I know. Introverts making friends.
It's crazy.
I don't know if you're an introvert, though. Are you an introvert? You seem extroverted to me.
I can be extroverted, but I really hate talking about myself. So
Gotcha.
When you told me about this the other day, it's just like, oh my God.
Have you been stressing about it ever since?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I haven't really slept, so.
Okay. Yeah, you seemed a little nervous when you got here.
I was.
It's the same with PJ.
Nervous.
Like, PJ, the last episode, PJ was so like nervous about it, and was it okay? Was it okay?
Wow.
But afterwards, he was like, "That was really fun. That was fun." And it is. It's people have stories to tell, and that's kind of what I want to do with this. Is people have stories to tell that they may not have their own podcast. Although I didn't know about your podcast.
It's not a podcast. It's a live radio show.
And they've got stories to tell, but they're not necessarily out there telling their stories. So. Excuse me, hiccup. So anyways, anything else that you'd like to mention? I see you have a list in front of you. I want to make sure we covered what you wanted to talk about.
Well, we didn't really go into like current stuff, but we don't really need to.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there's a friend that really helped me through the horrible mess that was a breakup of my marriage, and he's been a good friend ever since then, so I'm really grateful for him, and he's someone that I help out too.
Right.
He's coming to the Weird Al concert with me at the end of the month, and he hasn't had a working vehicle for a while, so I'm kind of like, oh my God, if I have to drive up to Michigan drag his ass down to Fort Wayne,
Uber,
that's gonna be awful. So I bought him a vehicle.
Oh my goodness. Okay, when we get off air, we're having a talk about codependency. That's what we're going to talk about.
It was only $800, so it's not like I bought him.
We're talking about codependency after the show, honey. All right. I see glimmers of 2014 Chris Spangle flashing before my eyes right now. We'll get into my codependency in future issues, but right now we're talking to raging codependent Kristi Avery.
Oh, he's probably going to kill me for saying that.
It's fine. Life is what it is. So, all right. Well, thank you for joining me.
Oh my gosh, it's actually been a lot of fun.
Good. And I hope the listeners had fun. If not, don't tell us, Kristi.
Yes, only tell good things.
Right.
I want to hear good things.
I think it's very sweet. I think it is. What you do for us is amazing. You help us out, and people need cheerleaders in life. You know, people need.
I need some.
Yeah, I know. And it is. You kind of have to create cheerleaders by telling people what you need. Not just in terms of any need, emotional, physical,
Right.
mental, spiritual, whatever. You've got to tell people
Financial.
what the need is, yeah, and then people will respond to it, and that's how we get cheerleaders and those encouraging people in our lives that help us to go to you go, am I doing this right? And it doesn't matter what it is, anything in life, you go, am I doing this right? And then it's the cheerleader, the encourager in your life that goes, hey, I love it. Thanks. Keep going. Keep going. And so you are one of those people for me, for Greg, for all of us at Weird Libertarians. And we really thank you and we appreciate it.
Oh, it's great. It's great to hear that.
Yeah. And I'm sure Weird Al feels the same way.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
So
hopefully, maybe he'll tell me that when I see him in Fort Wayne.
All right, Kristi. Thank you for joining us here on the Chris Spangle Show.
Thank you.
Hi. This is Chris Spangle. Can you hear how good I sound? I sound great. And you know why? It's because listeners like you go to wearelibertarians.com/wishlist and you help us purchase new equipment. And then we take that equipment and we hook it all up and then we sound really good. And the only thing that can possibly go wrong is if I forget to hit record one more time. So, if you want us to listen, getting new equipment isn't going to make everything better. There's still going to be problems with people like me and talking into the microphone, but you can make us sound really good as we're messing up by going to wearelibertarians.com/wishlist and purchasing an item today. It helps us grow, it helps us do more, and it helps us make sound better. Make sound better? That doesn't even mean anything. Well, I'm still not giving up, and I hope you weren't either. So please, wearelibertarians.com/wishlist. Thank you for listening to the Weird Libertarians Network. Get our other shows at wearelibertarians.com.